You're welcome back to my channel. My name is Yinka. In today's class, I'm going to be making this beautiful bubu dress with yoke. For this style, I'm going to be using 4 yards of Ankara fabric, and then I bought 1.5 yards of this chantilly lace, and then I have this beautiful 1/2-inch velvet ribbon. You can see it. I bought 5 yards. Definitely I'm not going to be finishing this, but I got 5 yards. All right, so then I have bias here also that I'm going to be using to finish the neckline. So let's get into it. It's a bubu dress, as you can see, so I'm going to be drafting the bubu first before cutting out the yoke. From my fabric, I'm going to be cutting out the length that I need. I need twice my length measurement with extra 4 inches as my seam allowance. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. My length is 60 inches, so I'll measure 60 inches 2 times from my fabric. This is 60 inches. I'm going to be measuring twice the length, then with extra 4 inches. I'm going to be cutting that out. Once I cut it out, I'm going to be folding it into 2 such that the upper part is going to be unfold like this, and the length is going to be the length of your gown. So I folded it into 2, then again I'll fold it like this into 4. My fabric is folded into 4. This upper part is unfold, and this side here is unfold also. This is going to be your center front and also your center back. This other side is open, the wing part of it, and I folded my fabric on the good side because you're going to be shocking on the good side because it's a bubu dress. So the next thing now is to put my measurement. Starting from the upper part, I'm going to measure down my nipple point, which is 10.5. Then my waist length is 17. My hip line, standard hip line is 24 inches. Then the length of my gown, we already used our length to bring it out, so the rest is the length of my gown. So I'm going to extend the lines. If you're making yours, please don't extend the line because we are shocking on the good side so that you don't spoil your fabric with too much shock. But this is a tutorial, so I'll just extend the lines. So starting from the folded edge, on my nipple point line, I'm going to be inputting my bust circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 1/2 inch ease. My bust measurement is 40 inches divided by 4, that will be 10 inches with 1/2 inch ease because it's a bubu dress. So starting from the folded edge, I'm going to measure 10 inches then with 1/2 inch ease. If you don't want it to be snug on your body, you can add 1 inch ease, depends on what you want. So I'll come to my waistline. I will input my waist circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 1/2 inch ease. My waist circumference measurement is 32. 32 divided by 4, that will be 8 inches plus 1/2 inch ease. I'll come to my hip line and I will input my hip circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 1/2 inch ease. So on my hip line, I will input my hip circumference measurement divided by 4. My hip is 42 divided by 4, that will be 10.5. I'll measure 10.5 with 1/2 inch ease. Then I'll connect the points together. At the hem line, I'm going to input my hip circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 5 inches. Starting from the folded edge, I will input the measurements. My hip is 42 divided by 4, that is 10.5, with 5-inch extra. So I'm going to connect from the hip line to the hem line. So the next thing now is for you to transfer this choke that you have here to the other side of your dress. So you do that by just inserting pins all along this short line. Alright, so I'm done pushing in pins. So the next thing is for me to turn knee to the other side. Though you may not see my pins, but I can see it from here, so I'll just use my choke and connect my pins together here. So I'm done transferring my choke, so I'll turn it back this way and I'll remove the pins. Alright, so the next thing now is to input our neck measurement. You can do any neckline of your choice, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be doing 3.5 by 3.5. Okay. Then I'll connect the points together. You can use your hand or you use your French cuff. Oh, this is it. The next thing now is for you to cut it out. So I've cut out the neckline. So the next thing now is to determine the width of your yoke from the neckline. So from the neckline, I'm going to be measuring 4.5 inches for the yoke. So I'll measure 4.5 inches all around the neckline like this. Then I'll connect it together. So this is going to be my yoke. We're going to be cutting this out to replace it with the net. So you're going to be replacing this with chantilly lace or net or anything you want to use for the yoke. Before you scatter this, please notch this shoulder area like this. Place a notch there, and then also you notch this down part. That will guide you when you're sewing it back. So let me fold this out of the way. So we're going to be cutting out the chantilly lace now. This yoke is folded into 4 such that this part is on fold and also the shoulder area is on fold. You're going to be folding your lace the same way. First, you fold it into 2 this way, then you fold it downward like this. Can you see? So my fabric is folded into 4. This part is on fold and here also is on fold. So the next thing now is to place your yoke on top of it. Place your yoke right on top of it this way. Like this. Align it properly like this. Yeah. Then the next thing is for you to measure 1/2 inch all around the yoke. You measure 1/2 inch all around, and this 1/2 inch will serve as seam allowance for joining this yoke back to the body. 1/2 inch all around this yoke, and then I'm going to cut it out. So next is for me to cut this out. Then I'll also cut out the neckline. So this is So this is what we have now. Don't forget to put notches like this and also here, so that it can connect back to the upper part. So this is it now. We are going to be joining it together. So we no longer need this yoke, you can discard that. So we'll take to the sewing machine now, and we are going to be joining this yoke back to this. So if you open up your bubu, this is what you have. Don't forget we have notches. We have notches here, so we are going to be sewing it together. So you place them together on top of each other, right side to right side, and then you're going to take to the sewing machine and you're going to join together with 1/4 inch seam allowance. 1/4 inch seam allowance. So make sure you align the notching and then you pin. So you take to the sewing machine, you join the yoke all around the circle. So I'm going to be doing that on the sewing machine. So I'm going to be cutting out the lace that I'm going to be using to create the pleats all around the neckline. I'm going to be making the width of that to be 7 inches, so that by the time I fold it into two, it's going to be 3.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut it. I'll cut as much as I need to pleat all around the neckline. For more accuracy, you can just measure around the area you want to pleat it on top, and then you need, for the length, you need three times that circumference. I'm just going to be cutting this that I have here, and yeah, the width is 7 inches, then the length is as much as I can get from this 1 yard. This is exactly 1 yard, so that it can be very full. Please, when you're sewing, don't stretch the lace, don't pull it. I'm done joining it together. So the next I'm going to do now is to weave all around. So like I said, when you're sewing the lace, do not stretch the lace so that it will not stretch beyond the circumference of the Ankara. So I'm done joining it together, and you can see it's a perfect fit. Doesn't have any excess, it's just a circle. So I've attached it together. So I'll go ahead now and I'll weave it all around, and I'll finish the neckline. I'll finish the neckline with my bias. Alright, so at this stage, this is how it looks. You can decide to even wear it like that. It's beautiful like this. We do this type also, but I'll go ahead now and I'll prepare the ruffles, so keep washing. So I'll join all these things together, and then I'll fold it into two and sew. Then I'll turn it to the good side. I'm done joining everything together. The next thing now is to fold it into two this way. Then you're going to be stitching together with 1/2 inch allowance. Alright, so I'm done joining it together. So the next thing now is for you to turn it to the right side, and for it to be easy for you, just stitch close one side of this tunnel, and then you are going to be inserting your scissors inside like this so that you can turn it inside out. So when you're done turning it to the good side, the next thing is for you to create your pleat. You have the option of pleating this directly on your fabric, like you bring your Ankara and you pleat it directly on the circumference that you want, or you can do it the way I'm doing it now by just creating the pleat first. Then after that, you're going to now stitch this pleated lace on top of the Ankara. This is very easy and is faster than pleating it directly on the Ankara fabric. This is very fast. So it's remaining the neck. So I'll also stitch the bias on the neckline. So I'll leave about 25 inches before I start, and I'll start at the center of the neckline in front. Just place the bias tape on top of it, and then you stitch all around the neckline. From the wrong side, this is what we have, and then from the good side, this is how it is from the good side. So I'll go ahead now I will hem the wing area. So I'm going to close the side now. I'll just follow my shocked line and I'll close the side. And yeah, that's it. Our dress will be ready in 1 minute. Please kindly subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. And don't forget to give me thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Next one.